welcome back. Well, welcome back to me, actually, because I'm here today after a 10-day break to try to remember what it is that I do. Let's try and remember how to scrapbook. Anybody else have that feeling if you take a little break? So we've been away with family on a last-minute little escape to the beach. And I have photos of various adventures to get back in Scrapbook, but now I need to remember how all of that works. Now in August, we are mostly still working with the July supplies, but there's a little top up. Today, as I'm just getting back into what's on my desk, I'm not going to add stuff today. I'm going to stick with what we've got, and then on Friday, I'm going to start adding in all of the extras that we have got. Now, I have something that actually looks like a summer activity because it was, which might mean that I could use some of the summer stickers that I found harder to use when I wasn't doing summery activities. Now, this is actually a bicycle ride. And of all the times that there have been random bicycles in collections and we've said, what is it? How do I use this? I don't have one. I have a scooter. I'm just gonna go with it. So for our starting point today, I am using this green print from Vicky's 49 and Market Flower Emporium collection to start my background, which is going to make for a really easy starting point. I know that I'm working with one 4x6 photo in landscape today, but you can work with whatever you would like. So let's have a look at these papers that we have to go with it. And I have this bright green from the Doodlebug pack that can happily go with that. And I have some yellow suns and stars from the Echo Park paper. So I think we'll use that side of this one and this side of that one, maybe the other way around. Maybe I want a block of stars and then just a few suns cut out. I think that's where I'm going. All right, so I have this block. I know somebody's gonna wanna know how big this is, so let's find out. It's just whatever was left. But it is almost 6. It's 5 3/4 by 4. All right, so I'm going to have that, and then I'm also going to have a larger block here. Let's go from this way. And let's make this one. Can I do maybe 6 1/2? Yeah, I can indeed. Let's do 6 1/2 by 5 1/2. So that gives me a little block here. Now, if you want to work with more photos, that's okay. You can make this a wider block to hold more photos that way. You could make it a taller block to hold more photos that way. But what I want to do is start with a couple of rectangles and then add in some shapes that are not rectangles, something I could cut apart or something that's already cut apart. So a design that you cut from a pattern paper, or something that's already cut apart means a die cut or a sticker. So things that are shapes, motifs. And I haven't used this sunny side here, so let's take some of this and see what we can do. So if we take that, I'm going to try to leave a little blue halo on here. So that we have that concept of a blue sky, which admittedly on our holiday, we had a holiday in England, we went to Cornwall. So we had some blue sky, but we also had a lot of gray sky and some rainy days. But we made the best of what we had, and we still did a lot of outdoorsy activities. We're all good. No sitting inside being sad in the rain. Just got out. Went ahead with it. All right, so things like this, and then I can ink the edge of that, and I'm going to tuck it in to my boxes here. Yeah, so I'm starting something like that. Now I'd like to make a little triangle of pieces. So let's see what we can do here. Because I'm tucking it in, it doesn't need to be a perfect shape on every side. And honestly, even if I'm not tucking it in, it doesn't need to be a perfect shape. Nobody is going to come look at your album and say, oh my goodness, you cut off a tiny bit of your cloud or your sunshine. It's fine. We get that it is a sunshine. So we can just run with it. But if we can take the partial edges and use those to go underneath the layers, then that makes it even easier. So this one is going to fit nicely on this side because it's got the straight edge there. Remember, this isn't stuck yet, so I can move this wherever I need to. And we want one more to form a triangle. I don't have enough there. Let's see what we could get. Let's just have this one here. And that one will be complete, no cut edges at all. Which means more sunshine for me to cut out. So apologies while I snip all the little rays of this sun. Just cut in with 2 cuts. That's the easiest way. Rather than trying to zigzag this way, just do them all as cutting in, and then when you pull the center out, if it hasn't quite met, pull back, and then you won't tear. But just do cut to the center, and then try to meet that point on the other side. You will end up with all these little bits on the desk. See, that's harder, and it doesn't make for such a clean point. Cleanest point is not the center. So this one was zigzag and that's a little bent. And the one where I went right to the tip of the scissors is a little overcut. So this is the easiest, the cleanest cut, is to not be near the tip, to be in the middle of the blade. And then just go in to meet that and then pull away. But like I said, nobody's coming to your album to criticize your cutting. Don't worry about it. So I have one to go on this side over here. Maybe this one goes on top. So our starting point is going to look like this. Very easy. Simple starting point for the day. So here we are. Okay, so that's my starting point. I've taken my little freeze frame. I've got a photo to put in here, and then I can maybe make a decision that I might want to move things around, because where I've put my sunshines, this one's fine because that was always going to go underneath, but I was going to put this one above and it would go right over somebody's face. So let's not do that. So let's move that one. But let's get this photo in here. Do we want maybe one more color behind it? I think so. So let's grab one more sheet of paper that I've already cut into. What might that be? Actually, maybe we bring in one that I haven't cut into, because this bright stripe is feeling lovely. I know this doesn't actually have the lime green, but I think we use this. It's got the yellow, and then I just have that little bit of extra color that I feel this was needing, because it's a photo with a lot of people and they're all wearing different colors. This was not a planned outfit kind of day. So having a multicolored paper here seems like a great idea to just bring all that together. And then I can offset that from the boxes I've got, and I can reset this one to maybe go here. So I've still got a little triangle. Now let's look at what journaling shall we put on. I'm going to use this one that says sunshine on my mind. That's from the Simple Stories cut apart. Could also punch this top and bottom, but for right now I'm not going to. And I'm going to build that up to the top. And I'm going to grab my summary stickers. So let's have that scooter straight away. Here. Let's look at what words we have here. Okay, so I've got little pieces to punch out here. And then I think I'd like to use this big Vicky word that says adventures with some little stickers to put in the name of the town where we are in the photo. Oh, actually, I could even just use the name of the trail. So the bike ride we did is called the Tarka Trail. So why don't I put that in small letters? Okay. Let's get some little letters. Shall we go a bit old school with some tiny little tiles? Why not? We will spell backwards. And here we can bring in those multicolored, the multicolored feel from that stripe and this plaid. And then let's have a slightly different size letter to go above there. Let's find a color that would be a good match. So we've got 2 Old Stash letters here. And should you be feeling like Old Stash is something you should use more? Well, I didn't do my speech at the beginning, so hey, time for hashtag advertising. Hi, my name's Shamel, in case you didn't know that. By the way, I teach online scrapbooking classes, design scrapbooking products, and help you use them to tell your stories in a creative way. It's not just my hobby, it is my job, and that means anytime you scrapbook on the internet, it's considered advertising, and legally I should make sure that you're aware of that. So part of my hashtag advertising is that I do teach classes, and one of the classes I'm teaching right now is all about using your old stash. So you can pop over to shamel.com to find the sign up and all the details about using your old stash in the new pages from Old Stash class. There you go. Little segue there. Okay. Then what other summary things might I be able to add in here? Well, I've got some little tabs I could bring in here. I've got phrases. Have a green somewhere. Okay, let's get some dots going in here. So let's take some green and go up to the top. Just got 2 in that green there. And let's see what else we've got. I'm wondering, this is a very different cloud than those. Yeah, so let's not use that one. Let's go back and add one more sunny cloud up here to the very top. And then I have lots of room for journaling. Either, I've got a little bit of journaling that can fit here. Oh, sorry, I'm off the screen. A little bit of journaling that could fit here if I just want a little bit, but I've also got a big amount here. So this also means with a starting point that I could put an entirely different number of photos on this page. What if you just want to use this amount of journaling, but you would like to put way more photos? Well, we can totally do that. Take your photos and print a strip and layer them down the side here. Or you don't even need to print them as a strip. You could just mat them as a strip, place them onto the background as a strip. But you could do 2 4x6 portraits there if your bottom 4x6 portrait allows for a little bit of overlapping. Or you could do quite a few smaller photos, depending on how small you want to go, and have one big landscape photo across here, and then multiple portraits or multiple landscapes printed smaller down the left side of the page. All right, quickly cut this out because I'm running out of time, but to make sure this finishing detail goes up at the top of the page. So I will have another video on Friday here on YouTube, and that one will also be pre-recorded, but it will be a little bit longer, and it will not it will not be just the July supplies. We're going to use some August add-on there too. And if you need the links to anything like the supplies I'm using or what we're using next month, all of that can be found in the description box of this video, including where you can take classes with me, if you want a little journaling help, if you want page design help, all that stuff. You can find that all linked up. Facebook group, where you can find me on Instagram, all that stuff. It's all in the description box. So I'm going to have one last little cloud up here, a little bit of gold. And there we go. A page to get me going after a little break. And there it is. Thank you so much. I'm glad you could make it, and I will see you very soon. Thank you so much. Bye.